This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And our website is xzoneradiotv.com on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And if you'd like to send us an email, one simple address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. I've got a question for you, X-Zone Nation. It's a very simple question. Have you ever found yourself doing something you've never imagined you'd be doing? Something you could never have foreseen in your wildest dreams? Well, that's exactly how my guest this hour, Robert Kopecky, felt within this book that we're going to be talking about things no one wants to talk about, inspired by his experiences he never dreamed of having. Robert's book is entitled How to Survive Life and Death, a Guide for Happiness in This World and Beyond. And Robert is an Emmy-nominated art director. He'd assigned the credits for Showtime's Weeds and designed the art and directed the PBS children's show World. He contributes to Evolver, BeliefNet, Guy MTV, The Mindful World, and elsewhere. Now, he lives in Brooklyn with his wife, Sue Pike, the animal talker. And his website is robertkopecky.blogspot.com. And Robert, welcome to the X-Zone. Nice talking to you, and congratulations on all your great work.
Well, thank you very much, Rob. It's a pleasure to be on X-Zone with you.
Tell me a little bit about your life and what led up to the writing of How to Survive Life and Death.
Well, the basis of it really is these three near-death experiences that I had over the course of, about 15 years in my life. I didn't know that I was going to be writing a book about life and death. I had never expected that at all. That's the thing that I never imagined doing.
Right.
But I'm a kid from San Diego, California. I grew up on the border. I had kind of a rough childhood. I had a lot of crazy adults around me. I had kind of a mystical childhood. I may have had some sort of UFO contact issues in my early years. I once told a story at a Thanksgiving party about my brother's imaginary friends, Condi and Pondi, who used to play with him in our backyard and show him scenes from strange worlds and unusual creatures. And when I wrapped up the story at the Thanksgiving dinner, my mother informed me that the story was absolutely correct, but it wasn't my brother who had the imaginary friends. It was me who had the imaginary friends. And about the same time, there was a fellow that used to hang around my dad's business in downtown San Diego named Arturo, who was a Yaqui gentleman from northern Mexico, and he used to literally bounce me on his knee and tell me about his friends that flew in starships and stuff like that. So I had these kinds of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say this was normal to you to be talking about UFOs, strange people experiences. And what you were telling these stories, and you thought it was your brother, and your mother said it was you. How did you feel?
It was funny because I wondered why I could remember my brother's memories so well. you know. And I had all these vivid pictures in my mind about these two twin playmates that had big eyes and blue jumpsuits, and showed my brother these strange things and stuff. And when she said it, of course, I just kind of realized suddenly that it had been me, and that I had somehow sort of suppressed and projected the experience onto my brother, I guess, to help keep me comfortable with the memories myself. I'm not sure exactly how the human mind works, but it was like that. And my mom used to take us looking for Bigfoot when I was a child.
Oh, how cool is that?
She was from Oregon originally, and we would drive up there in the summer times. And for a couple of years, that was our goal, is that we were off looking for Bigfoot. And you know, she's a pretty normal lady. She didn't seem to have a lot of those sort of different ideas about things, but you know, one way or another, I was raised with some of these sort of alternative ideas in my life. They mellowed out a little bit, although I traveled when I was a young man too, quite a bit, and went around the world with my first wife. We explored the South Pacific and looked for tiki. We went to the Yucatan and explored the underworld there. Went from cenote to cenote. All the time, it didn't occur to me that I was on this path.
All right, Robert, please stand by. You and I have to take our first break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exonation, we're going to have a great hour this hour with our special guest, Robert Kopecky. How to Survive Life and Death. That's the name of his book. That's the topic of this hour here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, Then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation, Robert Kopecky is our special guest. He's the author of How to Survive Life and Death. And he's got a blog spot, robertkopecky.blogspot.com. Robert, you claim to have had 3 near-death experiences. Were they different from each other?
Yeah, they all were different from each other. They were all experiences that you might have heard in different forms from different people. But what I write about in the book is really how they were different and what I learned from each one. They both gave me, or they all 3 gave me somewhat different messages that I wanted to pass along to the readers and listeners. Would you like me to recount them?
Oh,
briefly?
yes, please, yes.
Terrific. The first one happened in a car accident, and it was a rather classic out-of-body experience where I was in a single car accident because of a cassette deck malfunction. I think you don't see that very much anymore.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah.
But back in those days, that's what happened, and my tape got eaten by my cassette deck, and I crashed into a telephone pole. And just that very next instant, I was at the top of the telephone pole next to the street light. There's sort of moths flying around, and I was looking down at the crash. It was twilight, and I could see lights snapping on in people's houses and people running out because they had heard the crash. And when I looked more closely, I could see that it was my car and that it was me that was hanging out of it. And I witnessed these people run around and call an ambulance, and the ambulance come, and I tried to talk to people. Ostensibly, I suppose I was a ghost, a disembodied spirit who was trying to make contact with people, but it didn't work. No one noticed me. And then I was I wasn't alone. I knew I wasn't alone, although there was not a personage like with me in front of me that I recognized, but it felt like someone behind me who kind of shepherded me away into sort of a soft gray fog. And I ended up in a place that was kind of pastoral, almost like an outdoor cafe in a way, having kind of an interview, sort of a long discussion. I don't remember the exact content of it, but it was all rather important stuff that was being hashed out, I felt. And then after what ended up being about 18 hours in real time, I regained consciousness, and then I went back out for a while, and then regained consciousness again, and was back. But that first lesson, I learned that that we are spiritual beings that are having physical experiences, and those are things that I was not certain about beforehand. I was always kind of a skeptic about things like that. But then when it happened, it didn't change me a great deal because I really, I think, just wanted to return to my normal life. And I was kind of ambitious in those days, and I sort of pushed it aside and went on with my life. And it wasn't until much later, and after the other 2 experiences, that it kind of resurfaced for me.
How different were the second near-death experiences from the first? And did you receive different messages in each one?
Yeah, the second one then was a situation, was a toxic reaction, and I ended up in what appeared to be like the inside of a bright white cloud. And a screen opened up in front of me and began showing me scenes of my life. And not the greatest stuff, not the best stuff, not the greatest hits, not the stuff that I would have wanted to have remembered, but these sort of oddly